It's Tuesday evening. You're scrolling through your bank account on your phone, and honestly, you're not quite sure how you got here again. Your paycheck hit 3 days ago, a decent paycheck, actually, and now there's barely anything left. You know you spent it. You remember some of the purchases, the coffee here, the groceries there, that thing you didn't really need but convinced yourself you did. And somewhere between then and now, the money just evaporated. So you do what you always do. You tell yourself that next month will be different. Next month you'll be disciplined. Next month you won't slip up. You'll finally build that emergency fund or that savings account or whatever it is you've been telling yourself you'd do for the past 3 years, maybe longer. But here's the thing that's been nagging at you. And I spend way too much time thinking about this. Money, human behavior, why people make the financial decisions they do. I've realized that the problem isn't actually willpower or discipline or being bad with money. The problem is way deeper than that. And honestly, once you understand what's actually happening, the whole situation starts to make a lot more sense. Because the truth is, you're not broken, you're not lazy. You're not uniquely bad at saving money compared to everyone else. What's happening to you is the result of psychological and structural forces working against you in ways you probably don't even realize. And by the end of this, I want you to see exactly what those forces are, and, this is the important part, what you can actually do about it. You know that feeling where you think, I'll save money next month? Yeah, that's not a plan. That's hope dressed up as a plan. Here's what's happening psychologically. Your brain is really good at believing that future you will be different from present you. Future you will be disciplined. Future you will have figured it out. But future you, when they actually arrive, turns out to be basically the same person as present you, with the same weaknesses and the same tired brain at the end of a long day. This is called the planning fallacy. And it's absolutely relentless. We systematically underestimate how much we'll spend and overestimate our future motivation. It's like we think that on the first day of next month, we'll suddenly become a different person. We won't. The real problem is that willpower gets weaker throughout the day. By the time you're exhausted from work and from making decisions, your willpower is basically depleted. That's when you see something you want, and instead of thinking, do I need this, you just think, I want it, and that's where the money goes. So the solution isn't to rely on willpower. The solution is to remove willpower from the equation entirely. Because expecting yourself to simply choose to save money every single day is setting yourself up for failure. It's not a personal failing. It's how human brains actually work. There's something almost unfair about how our brains are wired. Saving money is abstract, it's future, it's a number in an app. But spending money, that's immediate, that's real. You get the dopamine hit right now. The coffee tastes good now. The clothes feel good now. Our brains were built for scarcity. If you saw resources, you took them because you didn't know when you'd see them again. We're not wired for sacrificing present pleasure for future security. We're wired for now. And the modern world has weaponized this. Companies spend billions understanding exactly how to trigger this impulse in you. Every notification, every sale alert, every limited time offer is designed to bypass your rational brain and hit that immediate gratification center. It's not fair. It's not a fair fight. What makes this worse is something called hedonic adaptation. You buy something exciting, and a week later, it's just normal, boring. So you need the next thing to feel that rush again. And if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you never quite feel like you have enough, even if you make decent money. The system is designed to make you feel like you don't have enough, no matter how much you make. Here's something nobody really talks about. Most people don't spend money intentionally. They spend money by default. What I mean is this. You have a bank account with easy access. You see something you want. There's no friction between wanting and having. You tap a button, you get the thing. And because there's no friction, the decision happens in the background of your consciousness. It's not deliberate. You're just spending. Compare that to someone who gets paid in cash and puts it in envelopes for different categories. Is that person making more intentional decisions? Absolutely. But there's friction. There's a moment where they have to think, and in that moment, the impulse can pass. The issue is that modern banking has engineered friction out of the system. That's supposedly a good thing, but what it actually means is you're spending money without ever really deciding to. You're operating on autopilot. Here's what gets me. We think about saving as something we have to actively do, but we think about spending as something that just happens. One requires effort, the other is just the default. Is it any wonder that spending wins? If you want to flip this around, you need to reverse the friction. Make saving the default. Make it so the money doesn't even sit in your checking account tempting you. Put it somewhere else. Make spending the thing that requires friction, not saving. There's this narrative that's really pervasive, and it's absolutely poisonous to saving. It goes something like, once I make more money, I'll save more. Once I get that raise, then I'll finally have room in my budget. I understand this instinct. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, it feels like the problem is that you don't make enough. But here's the truth. That's almost never how it works out. There's something called the hedonic treadmill, and it's one of the most consistent findings in behavioral economics. When your income increases, your spending increases to match it, almost automatically. Your lifestyle expands. You move to a nicer place, you eat out more, you upgrade your car, and suddenly you're right back where you started. I've talked to people making six figures who are stressed about money, not because they're bad with money, but because their expenses expanded with their income. They never made the intentional choice to save a portion of their raise. They just let it happen. So the problem isn't really how much you make. The problem is how much you keep. And that's the thing almost nobody thinks about. You can make $100,000 a year and save nothing, or make $40,000 and save a meaningful portion. The difference isn't income, it's intention and systems. This is actually freeing because it means you don't have to wait for some magical future when you make enough money. You can start right now with what you have. You can build that saving muscle today, and by the time your circumstances change, you'll already have the habits in place. Here's something weird. We have more access to financial information than ever before. Podcasts, YouTube channels, books, apps, all telling you how to save, yet people are saving less than ever. Why? Because having information and having a system are completely different things. You can watch 100 videos about saving and still not save a single dollar. Knowing what to do and actually doing it are separated by this massive gap called implementation. It's the difference between intellectual understanding and behavioral change. You can intellectually know you should save. You can agree completely, but if you don't have a system in place, you won't actually do it. And I think this is why people feel stuck. They know they should be saving, they've read the advice, but they haven't changed their actual behavior, and they feel bad about themselves, like they're broken somehow. But you're not broken, you just don't have a system. Information is almost useless without a system. A system is what actually changes behavior. Okay, so this might seem almost too simple, and maybe that's why it works so well. The single most effective way to save money is to automate it. This might be the most important thing in this entire video, because this is where theory becomes practice. Here's how it works. You set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your savings account right after you get paid. The amount doesn't even matter that much. It could be $50, it could be $500. The number isn't as important as the system. What happens is this. The money never sits in your checking account tempting you. It's moved automatically before your brain even registers that you have it. It becomes invisible. And when it's invisible, you spend the rest. Your body adjusts to the new baseline, and suddenly, without feeling like you're sacrificing anything, you've built a savings account. This is so much more powerful than trying to save whatever's left at the end of the month, because there's never anything left over at the end of the month if you're expecting yourself to save it consciously. The automation removes willpower from the equation. It removes choice. It removes the daily friction and deprivation, and it actually works. Here's the beautiful part. Your brain is incredibly adaptable. If you're saving $100 a month automatically, your brain will adjust to living on that amount less. After a few months, it won't feel like you're saving anything anymore. It'll feel normal. Then, if you want, you can increase it. Your brain adjusts again. But it has to be automatic. It has to happen without your conscious intervention. That's the key. I want to spend a moment on something more philosophical, but it's actually really practical. The way you think about money fundamentally shapes how you behave with money. Most people think about their savings account as money they're giving up, money they're sacrificing. They think about spending money as the fun, good, important money, and savings is this depressing obligation. But that's inverted, completely backwards. Your savings account is actually money you're giving to your future self. It's investment in your freedom. It's security. It's options. It's the ability to say no to bad situations because you have a cushion. It's the ability to take risks because you're not one emergency away from disaster. It's the ability to live on your own terms. When you reframe it that way, suddenly saving money isn't deprivation. It's actually the most selfish, self-serving thing you can do. You're taking care of yourself. You're buying yourself freedom. And once you genuinely feel that, not just intellectually understand it, but actually feel it, your relationship with saving money changes. It stops being about being good or disciplined. It becomes about taking care of yourself. Here's something that's wild when you think about it. Saving money isn't just about an emergency fund. It's about compound growth. If you start saving now, even a small amount, that money has time to grow. It earns interest. It's invested. Over 10, 20, 30 years, small amounts become enormous. Someone who saved $50 a month starting at 25 will have way more at retirement than someone who saved $1,000 a month starting at 40, all things being equal, because of compound growth. This is where the current mindset of living for today becomes so costly, not just emotionally, but mathematically. You're not just giving up the money you spend, you're giving up all the future growth of that money. But here's the thing. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to save a huge amount. You just have to be consistent. Consistency over time with compound growth is one of the most powerful forces in personal finance, more powerful than income, more powerful than intelligence, just consistency and time. And once you start, once you see your savings actually growing, once you feel that sense of momentum and security building, the emotional calculus changes. It stops being about what you're giving up today. It becomes about what you're building for tomorrow. So here's what we've actually been talking about. Saving money feels impossible, not because you're broken, not because you're bad with money, but because the world is literally designed to make you spend money. Your brain is wired for immediate gratification. The systems around you are built with friction-free spending. But, and this is important, none of that means you're stuck. It means you need different tools. You need systems, not willpower. You need automation, not intention. You need to restructure the game so that saving becomes the path of least resistance, not something you have to fight against every day. Here's the truth. You're not bad with money. You're just living in a system that wasn't designed to help you save. And once you change that system, once you set up automatic transfers, once you remove the daily friction of choice, once you reframe what you're actually doing, everything changes. This isn't complicated. It's not about earning more or being smarter. It's about understanding yourself and the world around you, then restructuring that world slightly so it works for you instead of against you. You've been thinking about this the wrong way, and the good news is that that means you can start thinking about it the right way today, not next month, today. Set up one automatic transfer, just one. Pick an amount that feels manageable. Send it to savings right after you get paid, and then forget about it. Let the system do the work. Let your brain adjust. In a few months, you'll look at your savings account and wonder how you got there. And you'll realize that saving money wasn't impossible. It was just impossible using the wrong strategy. All you needed was a better system. That's the conversation I wanted to have with you. Thank you for spending your time with me. I'd love to hear what resonates with you in the comments. Let me know what you're going to try or what made you think differently. Thanks for watching.